So hello everyone, this is Friday, August 19, 2022, and as usual we are doing the Hindu Delhi edition. So first we will be identifying the most important news and it will be followed by a detailed discussion. So without wasting time, let's move forward and see what are the most important news. So status quo, SC order status quo on move to put panel in charge of IOA. Okay. So it is related to that hockey ban, na? Hockey not, yeah, what is it? Football ban. Okay. Appointment of committee may result in sporting ban on India globally. Okay. Indian Olympic Association to a committee of administrators. Okay. Fine. We'll see what we can get from here. Not very important, but yes, we must know. Okay. Fine, there's nothing here. Fine. Okay. So there is nothing here as well. Okay. There is nothing here as well. Okay, let's see. Hard truths about India's labor reform. The paradigm driving employment and labor policies needs to change for better quality livelihood now and ahead. Okay. Okay, we'll see this. Salman Rushdie not required. Not required, the other one also. Okay, you give it a read if you want. It has been in news for a lot of time, so more or less we are done with this freebies thing, right? Text and context. The recent blocking of VLC media upload. What? It has been blocked or what? Because I use VLC media also. Everyone uses VLC media. Okay, we'll see the gist what had happened. The controversy around parking space. Okay, we'll do the gist. Let's see if we can get anything from here. And the dragon. Okay, not required. Okay, there is nothing here. Okay. Okay, look, this is an example of ecological adaptation. Okay, I'll do this because it can serve as an important case study or example in mains answer, right? Okay, elevated inflation need apt policy reply. Obviously, what is this ML? Machine learning. Okay. Fine. So we are done identifying the most important news. Now let's go on and analyze the same. Okay, let just know this thing. It would be enough. Wait a minute. Okay. Now let's see. Supreme Court. Okay. A 3-judge bench led by CJI NV Ramana passed the order to maintain status quo after the Central and IOA informed the top court that charge has not yet been transferred to the 3-member COA. The top court said that case would be posted for hearing before an appropriate bench on Monday. The court ordered on Thursday came on an urgent mentioning made by the Centre and IOA that Delhi High Court decision to appoint a COA ran risk of India being banned from participating in international events including Olympics. According to the rules of the International Olympic Committee, representation of a national level body like IOA by a non-elected body would be treated as third-party interference. The IOA is bound by rule. Every country in the world is bound by it. Okay. Mr. Mehta said that issue essentially affected national prestige in a global field. He said that High Court decision to appoint COA may or may not be valid for valid reason. The top court separately look into the merit, but the moment they take over, India stands 99% chance of being suspended from participating in any Olympic events. FIFA ban. The turn of the event in athletic arena comes as India is grappling with the reality of FIFA ban of All India Football Federation. The governance of AIFF has similarly been transferred to a COA by Supreme Court. The FIFA has recently gone ahead and suspended the AIFF citing third-party interference, leaving an air of uncertainty on prospects of India hosting Under-17 Women World Cup in October. Okay. Know this thing, that how they see a third-party interference. Okay. So nothing here. There was nothing on these pages. We directly jump to editorial now. Okay. Editorial. Hard truths about India's labor reform. The paradigm driving employment and labor policy needs change for better quality livelihood now and ahead. Independent India was born at midnight of hour of August 15, 1947, 75 years ago, when India's first Prime Minister unfurled the country's tricolor flag and announced to the Parliament that India has made tryst with destiny. India has won its independence after a long, remarkably peaceful struggle for freedom led by Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi has a vision of country not divided into fragments by religion and communal walls. He envisaged a country in which all Indians, whether rich or poor, would hold their head high in dignity. India strives with destiny to provide Purna Swaraj to all its citizens, political freedom, social freedom and economic freedom. Okay. Country's fault line. The country's democratic constitution created the world's largest democracy. Sadly, 75 years later, political liberties and freedoms of speech are being curbed in India. Social equality among the castes has not been achieved. Lower caste citizens continue to live in great indignity. Lower caste poor women live in abject poverty in India's village. They are among the most oppressed human on the planet. While the number of Indian billionaires increased during the COVID-19 pandemic, hundreds of millions of Indians lost their income when country locked down during the pandemic. They struggle to find shelter, food and even drinking water for their families. India's gravest socio-economic problem is the difficulty a vast majority of citizens have in earning good livelihood. Their problem is not just employment, it is the poor quality of employment. Okay, so what is the problem? Poor quality of employment. insufficient and uncertain income, and poor working condition wherever they are employed, in factories, farm, service establishment or at homes. The dominant theory in use to increase employment is to improve the ease of doing business, with expectation that investment in business will improve citizens' ease of earning good livelihood. In theory, large and formal enterprises create good jobs, and labor law must be flexible to attract investment. Investors say that the law protects labor too much. Reforms were begun by UPA government. Their principal thrust was to improve administration by simplifying and digitization. Those improvements were appreciated by employers as well as workers. However, they did not make labor laws more employer friendly. Therefore, NDA government became bolder in 2014 and moved to reform the content of the law. Impact of reform. The government designed a framework for reforms since labor is concurrent subject. Okay, mark this thing. Labor is concurrent subject. It encouraged state to implement changes. First of the blocks was Rajasthan. Other states followed. Economic reforms are a process of learning. The V.V. Giri National Labour Institute interim report, Impact Assessment Study of Labour Reforms undertaken by the states, provide insights into the impacts of the reforms so far. Labour laws cover many subjects: payment of wages, safety conditions, social security, term of employment and dispute resolution. The proposed national reforms of the government is gearing up to make shortly are the conversion of all these laws into 4 codes. The report has also focused on reforms of Industrial Dispute Act, which is to raise the limits of applicability of law related to terms of service and mode of dispute resolution to 300 people. The report spans the period of 4/5 to 1819. It focuses on 6 states, which are Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Jharkhand and Uttar Pradesh. The report reminds reader that labor laws are only one factor affecting business investment decisions. Investors do not go out to hire people just because it has become easy to fire them. An enterprise must have a growing market for its product, and many things must be put together to produce for the market: capital, machinery, material, land, etc., not just labor. Therefore, it must be worthwhile to employ more people before firing them. What is clear? Reading through the report, one conclusion is unmistakable. Reforms of labor law which had little effects on increasing employment in large enterprises. The report says that the effect of labor reforms cannot be revealed immediately. They will take time. Therefore, it is telling that Rajasthan, the first state to implement the reforms, seemed to have benefited the least from them. The overall story is hardly better. The share of employment in plants employing more than 300 people increased from 51.1% to 55.3%, and increased less from in 1718, okay, just 1%. When some states made the bolder reforms favorable for employers, though overall employment is affected by many factors, the bolder reforms post 14 were designed to promote larger factories. This hardly happens because labor reforms that increases the threshold of application of Industrial Dispute Act are conceptually flawed. Look, this Industrial Dispute Act has a legacy. Legacy of what time? It has a legacy of 1928-29. Okay, this legacy. It was prepared in this background, and then there were certain amendments to the act to make it more friendly to our nation post independence, right? But the background in which it was made was very much dominant in its content, and that dominance is still known. Okay, but what had happened that the 20th century economics is not followed in 21st century. Okay, we have changed a lot. Fine. So the in today's world it is conceptually flawed. In that sense, this article is saying this. Okay, they cannot include creation of large enterprises to whom the law will continue to apply. In fact, report says employment in formal enterprises is becoming more informal. Okay, large investors can afford to use more capital and also employing increased number of people on short-term contracts, while perversely demanding more flexibility in law. Report defines formal employment as grant of paid leave, a written contract and some social security. An enterprise should not have to employ more than 300 people before it provides this benefit. Along with the right to be heard and dignity at work, these are minimal essentials all employers must provide to all those who work for them, whether in small enterprise or domestic help. Increasing the threshold of the law dilutes the right of association in representation of workers in small enterprises. The question the report leaves unanswered is whether the reforms have benefited worker. After all, the primary purpose of the labor law is to protect the right of the worker, not promote the interest of investors. Surely, the benefits of reform should be assessed from workers' perspective too. It is sad that report include a long chapter on views of employer association about benefits of the reform and nothing about the views of employees and unions. The employers association says that reforms has been beneficial. The question is, beneficial for whom? A widening gap rising above the analysis of numbers and trends of employment in the report to see big picture again. And this big picture is what UPSC always asks. Okay, so this is very important paragraph. The conclusion is clear. The gap between where our economy is and where it needs to be is increasing. As seen in the article by Praveen Chakravarti, whose GDP is anyway, yes, it came, I think, one month before, means last month, yes, July 27, yes, that's what I was saying. Between 1980 and 1990, every 1% of GDP growth generated roughly 2 lakh new jobs. Between 1990 and 2000, it became 1 lakh per percent, and from 2000 to 2010, it became only half a lakh. Fundamental reforms are required in theory of economic growth. Okay, that's what I was saying. The theory of 19th century, 20th century economy is not valid to a much extent in this 21st century. More GDP does not automatically produce more income at bottom, and the paradigm driving employment and labor policies must also change to enable the generations for better quality of livelihood for Indian citizens now and in future. To achieve this, fundamental reforms is required in ways policies are made. If beneficial for reforms, if the benefits of reform is supposed to be the improvement of ease of earning better livelihood for all citizens and with more dignity, whether they are farmers, factory workers or service employees should not be listed on to most of all within their enterprises and in the process of shaping policies. Okay, so what it is actually talking about, the main point is that policy, okay, should consider each and every stakeholder considerations, okay, or views. This is the most important thing. Fine, you give this point in the answer and quote this thing, quote any data from this paragraph, from this article, you will get marks there. Okay, so let's go to the next page and see what we have. Never read the entire newspaper for UPSC or any examination, because you will be just reading newspaper, then you won't have time to prepare the static and all. You have to be very, very selective with reading the news. Okay, right, the website of VLC, Video Land Client, has been banned in India. Civil society organizations have repeatedly filed RTI application with MeitY to know the reasons for banning. All of them have met with similar responses. No information is available with the ministry. Section 69A of Technology IT Act allows government to direct an intermediary to block for access by the public. Any information generated, transmitted, received, stored or hosted in any computer resources, if it is necessary to do so in the interest of sovereignty and integrity of India. A detailed procedure for blocking content is provided by the IT procedure and safeguard and blocking for access of information by public. Only central government can exercise this power of directing intermediaries to block online content and not state government. Very important paragraph. Only central and not states have this power. Okay. So no one knows why such ban has been there. I use this player. I think you might also be using that player. Let's see if we can get a substitute for that. Okay. Now parking space thing. Supreme Court in Nahal Chand, Lalu Chand and Company Limited versus Panchali Cooperative Housing Society Limited dismissed the appeal challenging the Bombay High Court ruling that under MOFA Maharashtra Ownership Flat Act, a builder cannot sell parking slot in the stilt area as flat or garages. Fine. The SC determined that stilt parking spaces are not garages. It said that the term garage has not been defined by in MOFA and therefore the SC interpreted the term garage as used in section 2A of general sense. The garage is a place having a roof and a wall on three sides. It does not include an unenclosed or uncovered parking space. The court expressed that open slit parking spaces should be treated as part of the common area. Fine. Not required for the exam. Don't read it. I read it by misinterpretation. Okay. Now let's see what we have. This is the dragon. And it is a dragon of what? Game of Thrones. I don't saw any news here. Let's see if we can find anything. Or we are at the, okay. Yes. This was the case study. So it is bustard, you know. Great Indian bustard. GIB. Critically endangered. Endemic to Rajasthan, Gujarat, Kutch areas and areas adjoining in Pakistan, right? Now let's see. And very important, state bird of Rajasthan. The perceived benefit and recorded observation of egg laying of great Indian bustard have changed after the recent excessive rains in western Rajasthan. The critically endangered species has adopted an altogether new behavior of giving clutch of 2 eggs at a time after getting additional protein diet during the monsoon session. Fine, so more protein, more eggs. Environmentalists in Rajasthan have hailed it as a new record. All experts have been reporting a clutch of single egg by GIB for more than a century. Scientists working on ex situ breeding of these endangered birds have discovered the new proclivity in Jaisalmer district Desert National Park. 4 female GIB laid 2 eggs at a time during the concurrent rainy season, while 2 others were observed laying clutches of 2 eggs earlier. Dehradun-based WII scientist who is leading the project for breeding of the rare species told that 6 nests with 2 eggs each had been detected in the Desert National Park. She said 5 to 10% of the female have been detected in past laying 2 eggs each, but high incidence with sign of an evolving habit has been observed. The natural feed for bird gets produced in abundance whenever it rains excessively. Aimed at preserving the GIB whose population is reduced to less than 150 in the wild, the breeding project focuses on special prioritization, risk characterization and conversion management with endangered species. This is very important paragraph. Now let me tell you some of the challenges that GIB faces. GIB faces, one is the electricity, city cables, they get stuck to it, die. They are poached by hunters, they are killed by wild dogs, example dhule. These are the main problems. Fine. Now let's see other thing. If any else news is left, any other news is left. Okay. So yes, we are done identifying the most important news and we are done analyzing the most important news, and it's time to close the session now. So if you like the session, consider subscribing the channel, liking the content, commenting and sharing the content, right? So it's time to take a goodbye from you. So goodbye all, good luck, study hard and Jai Hind. So friends, I really hope that you like this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel and share this video with your friend. Follow us on Telegram as well. Also keep studying hard, keep following your dreams and keep tuned to our channel. Comment below for any suggestion. Till then, goodbye, good luck, keep studying hard.